Yesterday, a 12-pound bag. Today looks like it was a little better to you.
Today was a lot better.
Watch the numbers. 15-6 on the day for Bradley Roy with 27-7. Puts himself right back in the dance inside top 35 contention with an opportunity to fish tomorrow as we have met 61 of our 93 anglers today. Bradley Roy hoping he can survive that 47 cut and get after it again tomorrow. Congratulations, man. Good job.
Hey, bass fishing fans. It's Bradley here, and I just got home from Guntersville and Pickwick, our Alabama swing on my Elite Series tour. I just kind of got a chance here to sit down and look at the point standings. You know, like I've mentioned several times, people got a lot of questions about what we do as pros, and you know, checking out these points is something that we do all the time. You know, that's what we're worried about, because the Bassmasters Classic is the most important thing that there is for us as far as throughout our season. You know, we're worried about finishing high enough to get into the Classic. You know, you got to be in like the top 35, 36 in the points. To get into the Classic, it's good for sponsors, it's good for money, and that's just everybody's dream. You know, some guys work their whole life and never get there, and it's so prestigious to be in the Classic, and so that's what we're focused on a lot of times. You know, after Pickwick was the halfway point through the season, and I had a decent finish at Pickwick, finished in the 30s. And coming out of Pickwick, I was in 36th position. That would have put me in the cut, and that's halfway through the season. So I felt good. I was excited. You know, halfway through the season, I thought, Bradley, you're in the Classic. Now, if you can just have the other half of the season be as good or better than the first half, then we'll be inside the Classic and be where we want to be at. Going into Guntersville, I was excited. I was ready to fish that type of fishery. You know, I had some fish located, and man, I had one of the worst first days in a tournament I've ever had. You know, you look back, and I've heard different pros such as Mark Menendez and even Greg Benson, which are my roommates, but I hear them tell stories about one fish that either put them in the Classic or cost them a Classic. And you hear that from a lot of guys, and you don't think it's real until you see it happen. You know, on the first day at Guntersville, I had a school of fish located, and I was losing a few. Whether it was my fault or just unfortunate luck, I lost a few fish, but I finally got the biggest one to bite. I got it all the way to the boat. And I go down to scoop the fish into the boat. You know, it's got the bait in its mouth and it's hooked really good. And as I'm pulling it across the bow of the boat, it slips out of my hand and falls back into the water. Well, I thought, that's fine. It's hooked good. So I went back to get my rod and fight it back to the top of the water, and the line breaks. And, I had my hands on a fish that could have put me in the Classic, and I also had my hands on a fish that may have cost me the Classic. So looking back on that, it's so frustrating. And I told my marshal, I said, whether or not I can put that behind me, for the rest of the season will be, the deciding factor in whether I go to the Classic or not. But it's so hard to get over something like that, especially at this level. If, you make those mistakes and people, you're fishing against Kevin Van Dam and Skeet Reese, you can't make those mistakes because you're going to fall out if you do. And I took a tumble in the standings. I dropped about, I think I dropped 9 spots. And that one fish was the sole reason because I had a good day too. And if I'd had that fish on the first day, I would have made the cut, got a check, and been a lot higher in the standings. So, that's my feelings after the Alabama swing. I'm ready to go to Clarks Hill and try to turn the season around a little bit.